Good afternoon and welcome to our January 31st, 2023 Board of County Commissioners Commissioner Agenda meeting at 2 o'clock. Let the record reflect that I believe that all 5 commissioners are present. Commissioner Kearns is on Zoom. It is 2:08 and we are a little delayed. We had a meeting just before this with Spokane Transit Authority, so everyone's getting in place now. So I apologize for our being a little late, but thank you all for being here. So there was no written comment that was received for today's items on the agenda. And then I will then open this up for our open public forum. So that is for anything that is not on our agenda that someone would like to discuss. So first call for anyone wishing to come down and testify in our open public forum. Second call for anyone wishing to come down and testify on our open public forum. And that's again for any items that are not on today's agenda. No one online? Okay, third and final call for anyone wishing to testify at our open public forum. Seeing none, I will close the open public forum and look to my fellow commissioners. Oh, I will identify too, one other thing is we are striking number 5F on today's agenda. So 5F is being stricken from today's agenda. And I should ask, is there anything that any other commissioners would like to take separately? Seeing none, then I will look to my fellow commissioners. Commissioner Kearns, as vice chair, would you like to do the motion?
Yeah, I will gladly do that. Move to approve items 2, 3, 4, 5, and all sub-items excluding item 5F. So I believe there is an amendment that needs to be made to an item under number 6. Is that correct? Regarding term limits on the different boards and commissions?
That is 7D that will be taking that. So 6 is okay.
Okay, I apologize. I thought it was one of the other committees or under 6. Okay, then move to approve items 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including all sub items with the exception of item 5F.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve items number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, excluding item number 5F on today's agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. That will then take us to our public hearing items, which starts with item number 7A, to consider revising Spokane County Traffic Code number 46.44.041 to add load limits for, I don't know how to say that name, of the Chacolette Road Bridge over Rose Creek, bridge number 5202 for the Spokane County Public Works Department. And we have our county road engineer, Matt Zarecor, for a presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner. We're going to have 3 of these hearings today, all bridge related. This is the first one for Chacolette Road Bridge. And you can see on the overhead here that this bridge is in the southeast part of the county. And really this one is coming out of a state and federal mandated revised analysis procedure with some updated loads. So they're looking at them a little differently, and that's causing us to need to post some bridges. You've seen those kind of trickling in over the last number of years. So, we also looked at a detour for this bridge. We always want to consider that when we're posting these restrictions, especially down in agricultural land. And there's pretty good detours to the north and to the south. Highway 278 that runs east out of Rockford is about 2 miles to the north, and Bradshaw Road is 2 miles to the south. So there's a couple different ways around depending on where somebody's coming and going from. The posting you can see kind of in the upper left there, that's the restrictions that are being placed, and happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Oops. Any questions? No, thank you. So this is a public hearing item, so I will open the public hearing. First call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 7A on today's agenda. Second call for anyone wishing to testify. I'm not seeing anyone in the audience or online. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 7A. Seeing none, I will then close the public hearing and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move to approve item 7A as presented by staff.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. That will take us to item number 7B on today's agenda, which is to consider revising Spokane County Traffic Code number 46.44.041, remove load limits for Sunset Highway Bridge over Deep Creek, bridge number 0514 for the Spokane County Public Works Department. Matt, I'll let you do your presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner Cooney. And this is our second public hearing item. This is actually to remove the load limitations on this bridge. And the reason for that being that we removed the bridge. So this was one of those cases where we didn't need the bridge anymore. And we always looked for those opportunities. This only went to one person's residence, and it was very close to Highway 2 and wasn't needed anymore. So we're able to get rid of the bridge, take it off the inventory, remove that ongoing maintenance requirement, and vacate that section of roadway back to the adjacent landowner. He owned both sides of the roadway. So really neat and tidy, had federal funds to do it additionally, so it didn't cost us any money, and that was kind of a win in every regard. So this is really just to remove those bridge restrictions and take it out of our county code. Happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner French.
So for the record, we are removing the bridge to nowhere then?
Yes, we are.
Any other discussion? Okay, this again is a public hearing item, and so I will open up the public hearing item for number 7B on today's agenda. First call for anyone wishing to testify. Second call for anyone wishing to testify. Seeing none, none online. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify. I will then close the public hearing and look to my fellow commissioners.
Commissioner Cuny, I move to approve item 7B as presented by staff.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve item number 7B as presented by staff. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion passes unanimously. That then will take us to item number 7C on today's agenda, which is to consider revising Spokane County Traffic Code number 46.44.041 to add load limits, Dahl Road Bridge over Dragoon Creek, bridge number 2813, Old 195 Bridge over Spring Valley Creek, bridge number 3105, North Road Bridge over Dragoon Creek, bridge number 3806, and West Branch Road Bridge over West Branch Little Spokane River, bridge number 3906 for the Spokane County Public Works Department. Matt, one more time.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Last not but least, we're real happy we're able to bundle four of these, so you don't have to have our individual public hearings for each one. This one, it's going to be the same posting for each of the four bridges. It's a 36-ton max load. It's just a single posting instead of the differentiated by axle type of posting. And this first one you can see is up in the northwest part of the county. It's just outside of Deer Park. And the detour is just to the south, and it's to Crawford Road, one of the main thoroughfares in Deer Park. So it's a pretty easy detour, and this 36-ton max load is not a super restrictive posting at any rate, but it's just one of those that we need to have in place. I'm happy to answer any questions. Oh wait, let me go through them all. Thank you. So the next one is down at the very south end of the county. You can see on the map there, and this is at kind of a confluence of a number of roads. The detour is several miles around, down to Old 195 to Territorial, and then back up to Prairie View. So a little bit of a loop. Pretty low volume roads though, and it is a reasonable paved detour, so that part's good. And again, the 36-ton max. Next slide. This one, we're back up north. We're just south of Deer Park, and this is a little section of looped road that comes around and ties into 395, both at the north and south end. So it's not a significant detour at all, less than half a mile out of direction, even if you were right at the bridge. And this is, again, just that 36-ton posting. And the last one is still up north, and this is up near Aloika Lake, just for orientation, just a little bit west of Highway 2. And the detour, again, is not real significant. About a half mile to the north is Aloika Lake Road, which is a pretty major east-west in the north part of the county. And to the south, you tie back into Highway 2. So that's the detour for this one. And again, all those postings are that 36-ton posting, so not a huge impediment to people trying to get work done in those areas. And now, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Can you just identify, so saying it's a 36-ton max, what is just, so what kind of trucks or can go over that?
Well, just for comparison, I don't know if we can get clear back to that second slide in the presentation. All the way back, yeah. This is a more typical posting for us, and you can see those limitations for motor truck, semi-trailer at the top, or the 30 tons and the 32 tons. So this is less restrictive than those, obviously being 36. There are loads that will exceed that, but they're unusual, is I guess what I'd tell you.
Okay, so 7 axles is like a
Yeah.
18-wheel.
Yeah,
truck.
that's a lot of tires.
Okay.
You bet. So
Okay.
this one for that tonnage that'd be a little bit unusual.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
you bet.
Any other discussion? Okay, so this is a public hearing item. So I will open up the public hearing for item number 7C on today's agenda. Anyone wishing to testify, please come forward. Second call for anyone wishing to testify. Seeing no one online, no one in the audience. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 7C. Seeing no one, I will close the public testimony and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, move to approve item 7C as presented by staff.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for item number 7C. Any other discussion? Seeing none,
I just
Sure.
wanted to comment that I was hoping to be the second on that, but Commissioner French is really quick to jump in there with the second, so,
Madam Chair, I withdraw my second.
second.
I have a motion and a second. Seeing any further discussion? You just want to be in the minutes. So all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion passes unanimously. That will take us to item number 7D on today's agenda, and I believe Jeff McMorris, you're going to come up and talk to us for just a moment on that. And this 7D is to amend Spokane County Code Chapter 6.06, the No Shooting Area Advisory Committee, to reflect the change in composition of the Board of County Commissioners from 3 to 5 commissioners.
So thank you, Commissioners. We have been updating boards and commissions over the past month, as you are aware, to reflect the expansion of the commission going from 3 to 5 commissioners. Last week, we noticed a few members of a couple boards and commissions had been serving well past what term limits allowed per our county code. So when I asked Gina, our clerk, what she might know about that, she had remembered 10 years ago that the board had passed a resolution, which I passed out to you guys just before this meeting, removing all term limits from any boards and commissions unless state statute dictated that we needed to have it. That's Resolution 130151. For both the No Shooting Advisory Committee and the Fair and Expo Advisory Committee, which we think will be before you next week, we just need to clean up county code to reflect the resolution that was passed 10 years ago. Because we discovered this after today's public hearing was already posted, we'll still hold today's public hearing in case somebody showed up. But after the hearing, I believe Commissioner French will offer a motion to strike the language you see in red on the screen to reflect Resolution 130151. And if that motion passes, then we need another motion to do another 10-day public hearing. Since we are again making another change to county code, it requires a second public hearing. The earliest that hearing could be held is February 14th. Any questions?
Thank you. So we will go ahead and move forward with the item 7D today for the public hearing, as it's already stated and it has been posted. And then I will close that public hearing, and then we will look to make the further amendments. And then we'll have another public hearing if the amendments pass on the 14th of February. So this is a public hearing. I am going to open up the public hearing for item number 7D as posted and presented by staff today for the amendment to the county code for the No Shooting Advisory Committee. First call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 7A, or 7D, sorry. Second call for anyone wishing to testify. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify. I will close the public hearing, and I will look to my fellow commissioner.
Madam Chair, I would like to offer an amendment to Section 6.06.070, which addresses the term of office for the No Shooting Advisory Committee members. In order to conform with Resolution 13-0151, which states, "There shall be no limit as to the number of terms or portions of terms that an individual can be appointed to a board or commission." I move that we strike the language in red that Ron has up on the screen. There. So that's my motion, Madam Chair.
I'll second that.
There you go. So I have a motion and a second, as just presented by Commissioner French. Any further discussion? Seeing none? Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say
Commissioner
that,
Waldrop.
thank goodness we have good memory from our clerk. So thanks for alerting us to this, Gina, and it was good information to have as we move forward. So thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
To Madam Chair. Since this is an additional ordinance change, it requires another public hearing. So I move that we extend the public hearing on the No Shooting Advisory Committee for another 10 days before taking final action on this issue, and that the clerk of the board publish the meeting as necessary. The public hearing would be on Tuesday, February 14th at 2 p.m.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to extend, to make these additional changes to the ordinance and extend the public hearing. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. That takes us through our regular agenda. We do have one miscellaneous item that I want to just call our attention to, that with the airport board, nominations are open through today at 5 o'clock. We discussed last meeting that we would have those interviews next Monday, February 6th. So we're thinking starting at 9 o'clock, thinking a half hour. So we didn't, finalize the details. So a half hour for each interview. And then if commissioners could get their questions into Ashley Cameron, and we'll have Ashley collate those questions, and we'll come up with kind of 7 of the top questions, 5. Ashley recommends 5 questions. We'll allow time for the individuals to do an introduction, and then we'll ask the same 5 questions of each. Ashley will put those questions out to us prior to, so that way if there's any comments or concerns, people can address that between Ashley before Monday. Is everyone okay with that? Commissioner French?
Yep, Madam Chair, the clerk has just informed as of, 2:30, we have 6 applicants that have already filed. So for a block of time, we're looking at 3 hours. And do we want to have any period between the interviews for discussion for the commissioners, or just run them back to back?
So what we talked about last week was that we would have no more than 5, that we would give, it would go out to, the list would go out to everybody after it closes. And if anybody chooses, thinks they have similar candidate, if we can narrow it down, that we will. But there would be no more than 5, because that would just mean that each commissioner has somebody that they really want to make sure they interview.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that's what we decided last time, correct? Okay. So there'll be, there'll be 5 or less people that will interview. And then Ashley's coming up, I can see. Help guide me here, Ashley.
I might make maybe a suggestion to the interview process, I think, to get to Commissioner French's question. I'm happy to assist if you would like me to. Typically, when we do these sorts of interviews, I would recommend you leave a little block of time between each candidate just for the transition itself. Also, I do find when you're interviewing more than 2 or 3 people, a quick summary in between each candidate helps at the end remember who said what. So I might recommend that you give yourself a 10-15-minute buffer between each candidate, have that dialogue, bring in the next candidate so that you ensure that you have the meeting blocked for the appropriate time that I think you'll probably need with that scope of a candidate pool.
Very good. And I would say too, if some of the, as you're scheduling the interviews, if we need to do some interviews in the afternoon, we could start another batch at 2:00. So I don't want to, just since we're being so close on the time frame for, I know people are busy, that we're asking to volunteer to be interviewed, that if we do, 9:00 or 2:00 would be the 2 times. Does that work for the commissioners? Just to be flexible for the people we're interviewing? Okay.
Yes, I just wanted to remind folks, per our scheduled discussion, I will be appearing by Zoom for that. So just FYI, but I'm flexible for time.
Okay, that works for you then? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Does that take care of our questions? Thank you. Okay, so Mr. Simmons, is there anything else for today?
Well, you already covered the miscellaneous item I was going to bring up, so thank you. Our clerk was very efficient. We do have one executive session item, and the purpose is to evaluate to review the performance of a public employee as well as pending and potential. And in addition to the commissioners, Civil Attorney Jim Amacio would be in, Prosecutor Larry Haskell would be there, myself and Ashley Cameron, and John Grasso, also civil attorney. And I'm thinking, how long?
No more than 5-10 minutes at the most.
How about 10 minutes?
No action.
And no action.
Okay, thank you very much. And then Commissioner Kearns, do we have approval to use your stamp? Very good, thank you. So with that, then it is now 2:28. It'll probably take us 2 minutes to get into executive session. So we'll say executive session will start at 2:30 and go for 10 minutes, and we will be adjourning after that moment. So we will be adjourning at 2:40. Thank you all very much for being here. Appreciate it, and we'll see